Anthropic dropped a cheaper Claude, got its export ban lifted, and shipped a science tool, all in one day. And later, a lab grows human eggs from blood. No joke. It's Wednesday, July 1st. You're on Innover. 8 stories that actually moved today. Let's go. Innover Brief 01. Anthropic launches Claude Sonnet 5. Anthropic launched Claude Sonnet 5 today. It's their new default model for free and paid users. The big deal is the price. It runs smart AI agents at close to their top quality for a lot less money. That is $2 for 1 million words going in, $10 for 1 million words coming out, until the end of August. So the model that does the actual work just got cheaper to run at scale. And that matters, because everyone is racing to build agents that do real tasks for you. Cheaper and almost as good as how this stuff goes from a fun demo to an everyday tool. But this was not even Anthropic's biggest news today. Innover Brief 02. US lifts Anthropic export ban. Same company, and their next move was not about a product at all. The US government just lifted its export ban on Anthropic's most powerful models. For 18 days, Anthropic could not send its top models, called Fable and Mythos, to people outside the US. Now that block is gone. Fable comes back around the world starting today. There is still one limit. Users get about half their normal usage until July 7th. Why care? These are some of the strongest AI models on the planet. Who gets to use them and where is now a real government decision. That is new. So AI is not just tech news anymore. It is sitting on the government's desk. Innover Brief 03. Etched exits stealth at $5 billion. The models get the headlines. But someone has to build the chips they run on. A startup called Etched just walked out of secrecy worth $5 billion. Most chip startups show a plan. Etched showed a working chip built on a top factory process. And they already have over $1 billion in signed orders. Their whole pitch is simple. Build one chip that only runs AI and run it faster and cheaper than NVIDIA. NVIDIA sells almost every AI chip right now. A real challenger with real silicon is a big deal. The backers include Peter Thiel and the trading firm Jane Street. If this works, the company that owns AI hardware might not stay the same for long. Innover Brief 04. Realta Fusion makes power in a first. Enough about chips and money. Let's talk about pure science. And stick around. In a minute, a lab grows the first human eggs from blood. A company called Realta Fusion did something no private fusion company had shown in public. They pulled electricity straight out of a fusion reaction and lit up a light bulb. Here is why that is cool. Most power plants make heat, boil water, and spin a turbine. Realta skipped all of that and turned the reaction into power directly. It was just a light bulb, but it is the first real proof this path can work. Fusion has been 30 years away forever. Small wins like this are how that finally changes. Innover Brief 05. Conception grows human eggs from blood. From energy, now to life itself. Here's the one I promised you. A company called Conception grew the first early human egg cells in a lab. And here is the wild part. They started with blood. They turned blood cells into stem cells. Then they coaxed those into tiny ovaries. Those ovaries grew early eggs. The next step is growing those eggs until a doctor could actually use them for IVF. Think about what that could mean. People who cannot make eggs today might one day have their own. It is early. These are early stage eggs, not ready yet. But the door just opened on something huge for families. Innover Brief 06. Anthropic launches Claude Science. That kind of lab work takes forever, which is exactly what our next story is trying to fix. Back to Anthropic, because they also launched Claude Science today. It is one tool where scientists can run experiments, write code, and pull from over 60 science databases in one place. Normally, a researcher jumps between a dozen tools. This tries to put them all in one window. Anthropic even started its own program to hunt for drugs for diseases that usually get ignored. An AI company quietly becoming a drug company. Keep an eye on that one. Innover Brief 07. Finance giants launch OpenUSD. Okay, out of the lab. Let's follow the money. Over 100 huge companies just teamed up to launch a new digital dollar. It is called OpenUSD, and it is a stablecoin. That means a token that is always worth $1 real. The names here are giant: Visa, Stripe, Coinbase, MasterCard, and BlackRock. They are going straight at Circle and Tether, who run the biggest stablecoins today. When the biggest names in money move together, the whole payment world feels it. Innover Brief 08. Schneider buys Cognite for $3.1 billion. One more before we go, and it is a big check. Schneider Electric is buying an AI company called Cognite for $3.1 billion in cash. Cognite makes software that helps run factories and power plants smarter. Schneider wants that AI baked into the machines that keep the lights on and the factories running. It is a quiet one, but this is AI moving into the real physical world. Today's thread was simple. AI kept pushing into new places, from science labs to factories to your money. We track these every day and pull out what actually matters. If that is useful, subscribe and we will keep them coming.